Hey, what's up? It's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. Now this video right here is a compilation of several videos that help make up the course that you're taking right now. Now to help you navigate through everything, I've provided timestamps down below in the description, so I recommend going, check out those timestamps, watching what's relevant to you. Let's get into it. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing, and in this video I'm going to show you a couple tricks in order to troubleshoot funnel issues within your ClickFunnels account, because you're going to run into issues, I can promise you that, and then you're going to try and reach out to support and they're not going to reply back to you for 6 hours or longer, and you're going to want to punch your computer. And hopefully this video will help alleviate or help you identify a couple common errors that will throw you off completely. Now of course, obviously you need to make sure like your payment accounts are properly connected. If you're doing SMTP stuff, make sure that's properly connected. And I mean, obviously the basics need to be set up, right? You need to have your pages and your buttons linked and all that other stuff. So assuming all that, and you still have some random issues that, like, for this, like the sake of you cannot figure out to save your life, hopefully what I'm about to show you can help get you in the right direction while you wait for ClickFunnels support to finally reply to you, because they'll take forever. And I don't blame them. They have a complicated tool with lots of issues that could appear. But anyway, so for this first troubleshooting tactic, I'm going to go into one of my funnels real quick that's having an issue, and I'm going to go to my order form, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this up, and it's the dreaded issue where you try and submit a payment and it doesn't work, right? That's highly frustrating. So we come in here, we fill everything out like we think we're supposed to, we hit this submit button, and it just says submitting. And it says submitting, you wait a minute or whatever, you go back, you make sure you filled out all these fields on the front end, you make sure everything looks right? You don't see any issues, and ClickFunnels doesn't give you any tips of what the issue might be, so that's annoying. So you come back over here, and a couple things you want to check, of course, are to make sure your on submit go to option is blank or has some accurate information on it. So go into your settings, general, and make sure on submit go to is blank or is actually directing to the correct page. So I've seen this mess up people before, like they might have like a pound sign or something in there, and that's going to mess things up. So you want to make sure that that's empty, and you also probably want to check your code. Make sure you don't have any crazy code in here that might be messing up your form. None of this stuff is advanced, so that should not be messing up my form. Of course, you need to make sure your payment processor is connected and everything else. So you can do that by creating a brand new funnel that's, basic. Make sure you could run through that. Or if you're not having any other issues on any other funnels with your payments and it's just this one funnel, then something's not right. Your payment processor works and something else is the issue. So hey, I hope you're enjoying the training. Real quick, I have a special offer that I want to present to you where you can get a digital copy of my book as well as an audio copy. Plus, I'm giving away 20 pre-written emails that make your email writing a piece of cake. And finally, I have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures for a small business, and it includes training on how to actually set up the funnel. If you're interested in that, plus several other bonuses, link in the description down below, or there'll be a link in the little box up above here. So if you're interested, check it out. Back to the training. Let's go in here. So this works on this error, but it could likely work on other errors where things get stuck. So what you want to do is, at least in Chrome, I think Edge and Firefox and Safari probably, they all got this same type of thing. But we want to go ahead and inspect. And we want to go to console here. And we can see now we got some error message type stuff going on here. Okay, so let me just refresh my page so we can kind of watch it from scratch. So we see all this stuff loading up, and we got some red stuff here. So uncaught integration error can only create one element of a type card number. So that kind of gives us a hint. One element of type card number. So credit card number. So we come over here. We only have one credit card number field, it looks like, right? So, but let's go look at our page and edit it real quick. And I only see one credit card field. I could come over and double check my elements real quick, manage, see if anything's hidden. Maybe I have a hidden field. Okay, that's not credit card information. That one's not. So I look at all my hidden stuff, look for any hidden fields. And then I can come over to mobile settings real quick and look at this. I got a credit card field here and another credit card or two-step order form here. So I have two two-step order forms on my funnel. So that's probably messing things up. One's in desktop only or mobile only view. So if I come over here to sections manage, let's see here. So if I click on this one, we see that this is mobile only. So if I switch it over to all, we'll switch it so we can see everything. So basically I have cloned a section that has my credit card field. And so let me go ahead and delete this section out of here. Now there's other things I could do to make it, do what I want, but obviously I had two order forms on the page, two credit card field boxes on the same page. And based off of the text of that error, something about having two card number fields, I could kind of narrow in and figure out what's going on. So you could go ahead and, if you're having issues with stuff being stuck, pop open your console. Again, it's inspect, and then go to your console and look for something that's red. And hopefully it gives you some sort of description of what is wrong. Like maybe there's two fields in this case, or I don't know what other errors there might be, but it might pop something up and give you a hint of what could be stuck. And so, of course, this is hard to find naturally. Like I sat for like 3 hours trying to figure out why my freaking order form wouldn't go through. I hit my desk. I did all that stuff. Okay, and then I was like, and noticed this console thing and saw this credit card thing, and I was like, oh. And of course, ClickFunnels support didn't reply ever. So if I go now and test my funnel again, let's see, I saved it, console's up, I'm not getting any red errors, so that looks good. So let's see if I can go through, and still no error messages popping up. And complete order, submitting, and it looks like it's loading. So boom, there we go. We went through my funnel there. So that's, again, one way you could do it, looking at the console that can help you identify errors, basically when things are stuck. Another error that I've seen a bunch of times that'll drive you absolutely insane has to do with page paths. Page paths or step paths, your variant path or your funnel path. Like, if you have, like, there should only be this path one time in your entire ClickFunnels account. Okay, you should have no other shoes order path in your entire account anywhere, or things will break. So for example, if I came over here and I created a new funnel here, add new funnel and create new funnel, and I don't know, just doesn't matter, shoes break. So I come in here and I'm gonna go to my settings up in here, and I'm gonna choose my domain, and I'll choose, what was it? Shoes order. So I'm gonna choose shoes order and paste that in here. Shoes order. And save and update settings. And I'm gonna look at my URL here. And we see ClickFunnels let me put shoes order as my page path for my funnel. And I also have it as my path over here as well. So that's gonna cause some conflicts. Which conflicts is it gonna cause? Well, for one, this new funnel probably will never load. So I'll be trying to look at this page over here, but I'm seeing a different page, and I can't figure out why the heck I'm not seeing the correct page. So let me just put this template in place. And so what I'm thinking is, if I go to this URL, my shoes order URL, it should redirect to this step here and load up this page. And so if I go and I run it, and it brings me to do my order form, which is in my other funnel, right? It's bringing me to this order form over here instead of my other page that I just set up over here. So even though it's the same page path, and you would think it would redirect, but hopefully you're seeing what I'm saying. Basically, I have two of the same page paths and ClickFunnels is going to pick one of them. So if you're having an issue where you're trying to see this page right here, but you're not seeing this page, it's likely because you have some sort of page path issue. So let me see. Sometimes it'll even let you rename step paths too. So let's see, shoes order. Let's see if it'll stick. Shoes order. All right, so sometimes it adds some extra characters to your path so that way you don't run into these errors. But as you can see, when I set my funnel path, it did not add any special characters to where, it would not cause this error. So just something to be mindful of. If you think you should see one page but you're seeing another page, you likely have a page path issue, and ClickFunnels is, only referencing one page path and not the other one. So I've run into that issue many times. And also, sorry to keep going, but this can apply to archive funnels. So if a funnel is archived with whatever page path, like for example, like maybe you have a contact us page path, right? That's a pretty common page path to have, is contact us. And so you build it, and then you're like, I'm going to redesign my website or whatever. And so you archive that funnel, but that contact us page path was still in that archived funnel. Well, that's still going to be the page path that's like referenced. And so like it's going to like pull your archive funnel page path instead of your new page path. Or also, if you are getting crazy characters at the end of your page paths, it's because that page path is already taken and it might be sitting in an archive funnel somewhere. So you need to go to that archive funnel, restore it, change the page path so that way you can get the page path you want. So that's another issue that could be popping up, is if you have crazy characters popping up, it's because that page path is already in use and you need to go change that other one. Back to the video. So you would need to come in, restore your archive funnel, go into it, change out your page paths. So shoes break, you'd have to come in here and you'd have to go in and change out your page path so that way it doesn't mess up your funnel anymore, and so on. So I know that this was a lot of information about page paths and everything, but I've seen this error happen, way too many times with client accounts, my own account, and being like, why is the wrong page showing up? And if you're having that issue, it's a page path issue, and it might be because your funnel's in the archived and you need to pull it out, change your page path, etc. So yeah, of course, make sure the rest of all your other settings are in place properly, but those are two like tips or strategies for really frustrating errors that you have no like guidance on, because when your order form doesn't go through, that is highly frustrating. It could be like dang near impossible to figure out. So hopefully that console will help you figure that type of error out. And then if you think one page should load but another page is loading instead, then you likely have a page path issue and you need to troubleshoot that. Hopefully this video is helpful and saves you a headache or 2 or 3 or 4. I know that it's helped me, at least these strategies, so hopefully they help you, and thank you. Have a great day. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. In this video, we're going to go ahead and set up an Evergreen webinar in ClickFunnels, so let's get straight into it. So we're going to go ahead and add a new funnel right here, and we're going to use the classic funnel builder option and create a new funnel. We want to go ahead and host webinar, and then the one we want to select is the webinar replay. I know it's not necessarily a webinar replay, but it's an Evergreen webinar. I don't know. They should have called it Evergreen webinar to make it more clear, but this is one we want to go ahead and choose. And they tell us the steps it's going to build for us right here. So webinar sign up, confirmation page, auto webinar, webinar replay. So we'll get into it. We'll do it real quick. So demo webinar, and we'll go ahead and build the funnel. All right, so here we go. Here are the 4 pages that they said they're going to build on the previous page. And now we can go ahead and select some templates. So you can scroll through here and see which template you like best. Of course, you're going to use your page builder so you can customize the templates or build from scratch if you really want to. We're going to go quickly because you don't want to sit here for 4 hours and watch me build one, because it'd probably take 4 hours to actually build one with design and content and all that other stuff. So we'll just select the basics and get the ball rolling. So this one looks pretty, it's cool. Then we got the webinar countdown page. So this is basically the confirmation page that people land on after they register for the Evergreen webinar. So they can, see, when the webinar is starting, they can share the link, things of that nature. One thing you could do is offer a tripwire offer or a self-liquidating offer on this page. That could work very well to kind of recoup some of your ad spend. So just depending on what you might have. So that's what a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, but that's one strategy or tactic, is to offer a low-priced offer on this page. So they're waiting for the webinar to start. You can check out this $5 book you have for sale or something like that, right? And of course that book goes in line with the webinar, and on that webinar you're going to sell, a $1,000 package, something like that, right? All right, up next we have the webinar broadcast room. So this is the room that they go to when it's live, basically. So they go and they watch the webinar live. Obviously it's pre-recorded and all that other stuff. So let's go ahead and select this template real quick. And then we also have the webinar replay room. So this is the room that they go to if they didn't watch it live, right? So they're watching the replay. So it's basically the same room, like same concept, but it impacts your automation a little bit. So we'll talk about automation in a minute here, but that's kind of the difference between these two rooms, is your automation. Because when you're going live, you want people to go in the next 7 minutes or whatever. Whereas with the replay, it's like, hey, watch this within the next 3 days before it expires, something like that. Anyway, that's just strategy or tactics for Evergreen funnels. Okay, so we got our pages set up, and let's go ahead and look at them a little bit because there's some unique settings on these pages and unique elements, and we want to go ahead and talk about them real quick. So this is our opt-in for our webinar, and we'll preview it real quick so we can see how it functions just out of the box. So we got it starts today at 3 p.m. It's 2:24 p.m. So it looks like it's a top of the hour webinar. I'll show you how to change that. If we click this button, it pops up a pop-up, and if you go ahead and register, there's a text message option, etc. And we'll register in a second to see what happens. And come down here, same concept, another opt-in. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go ahead and opt in real quick and see what happens. So here's that confirmation page. So we see what it looks like. We see how it functions. We see that the webinar has a countdown now. It starts in 35 minutes and so on. And look, here we go. So here's what I was talking about, that self-liquidating offer, tripwire offer. So while they're waiting that 35 minutes for a webinar about, getting in shape, getting fitnessed, I don't think that's a word, getting in shape, we got this supplement that'll help you, crush your workouts or whatever the heck else you want to talk about. So I've done this strategy before where you offer an offer on the confirmation page, and it can definitely help you recoup some ad spend. So it's definitely a good place to do it. Somebody's already shown interest in your offer or your topic at hand, so fitness in this example, and this supplement, improves their fitness and so on. Makes sense, right? All right, so that's how it kind of works. And then of course we got to go ahead and wait 35 minutes. After this thing counts down, it should automatically forward us to the broadcast room. Simultaneously, if we have our email automation set up, we should be receiving emails that are also bringing us to our room. All right, so let's go ahead and check out some of these elements that we have available to us. So let's go to elements, add element, and we see we have a few auto webinar elements that are specific to this page type that we have right here for webinar registration. So we got webinar date. Let's throw all this stuff in here and see what happens. So we'll throw the date in here. So this is the drop down. Okay, so that's like over here on the pop-up. We have the webinar options over here. And this actually will change depending on your webinar type. So we'll point that out in a minute here, but let's just add them all. Webinar time. So this is, again, when they select what time. So depending on your webinar, it might change. Here's your local time. So let's go ahead and make this white real quick. And we got another one, countdown, auto webinar countdown. So this is like on that webinar confirmation page that we had. Where's that theme? Okay, there we go. And we'll add the next one, auto webinar at. And so here's that same thing right here, auto webinar at. All right, so those are all the elements available to us, and some are applicable and some are not. It just depends on our webinar settings. So to adjust your webinar settings, you come to settings here and webinar settings, and we can select our auto webinar type. Right now we're on top of the hour. So if we're on top of the hour, we're not gonna have this drop down where they choose a date and where they choose a time. Like, they don't need to do that because the webinar is at 3 o'clock in this particular case, or whenever they land on this page, it'll be that hour that's coming up next. So we wouldn't have these elements on that page type. It just doesn't make sense because they can't select anything. Now, if we come down and we change it where we do pick date and time, in this particular case, we would need the date and time option where they go ahead and select their desired date and time to go ahead and pick when they want to watch the webinar, right? So they can register for these different hours, different times, etc. on these fields. So let's go ahead, let's change it to that. So date and time, let's go ahead and save it and see what happens to our elements now. So if we do this, and now basically it freaks the heck out because today it doesn't make sense that we're doing pick a date and time. This thing's freaking out. So if you have a freak out on your page, then you know you have an element that shouldn't be there. So let's delete this one, and let's delete this one, and we can delete this countdown as well because they need to pick their time. So let's go ahead, save it, and preview it real quick, and now it shouldn't be freaking out. So there we go. So it's nice and calm now, and they have a few different options. They can watch yesterday's replay videos. So if they fill this out, they'll go straight into the replay room. Otherwise, they could go ahead and select a date and time that they want to go ahead and watch the webinar. And let's go back over here and settings and webinar settings. And then every X minutes is quite similar to the top of the hour one. It just, instead of every hour, they could go in every 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is. So same concept as the earlier one. So those are the Evergreen webinar elements as well as the settings, and some elements go with different settings. I just want to point that out there so if you have whatever settings, you can only have certain elements, right? Otherwise your page is going to freak out. So just wanted you to be aware of that and show you what's available to you, and hopefully you can piece it together and make sense of it, because it's not complicated. You just need to be aware of what is happening. All right, the next thing I want to show you on this particular page is the automation function feature. So what this is now, assuming you've gone in here and you've set up your SMTP settings. So you come in here and you go into your SMTP email integration, and you've gone ahead and set this up. Now, ClickFunnels does offer a free simple one that you could go ahead and use for your Evergreen webinars. Alternatively, you could connect a third-party tool like Mailgun to handle your emails, and there's pros and cons to each. But for Evergreen webinar, the simple ClickFunnels integration, so this transactional only one, is really all you need. But if you want to go more advanced, you can go ahead and set up a third-party one. So transactional only would mean you're setting up the ClickFunnels SMTP. Transactional and marketing means you're setting up a third-party SMTP like Mailgun or SendGrid or something like that. So anyway, assuming you have this set up, you need this set up to do the automation. Then you can come over here and configure your emails. So here's everyone. So this is when they register for the webinar, the type of emails they get. You can go ahead and edit them. So you can change all this information, change the design, note the different merge tags. So it'll automatically enter in the date, the time. It'll automatically enter in the link to the webinar so that way they can watch it and so on. So you can go ahead and customize this to your heart's content. There's a bunch of different settings and things of that nature. It's pretty self-explanatory to figure out and do. And then we got another section here for those that missed the webinar. So if they missed the webinar, you take them to the replay page, right? So if we look at this template here, we got the replay URL, merge tag in there, and so on. So pretty self-explanatory. I just wanted to point out that this is how you set up your automations for your Evergreen webinar to get people to show up and also to get people to watch the replay. And then of course you could go ahead and direct people to the product and everything. So we'll talk about that in just a second here, setting up the product and tracking that. but I think you get the gist of how these emails work. It's self-explanatory. Attended but missed offer, so they attended the webinar but didn't see the offer, saw offer but didn't purchase. And I'll point out these settings right now. So attended but missed offer and saw offer but didn't purchase. So basically we can see who stuck around, saw the offer versus who didn't. So you might want to send different emails to those who saw the offer. You might want to promote the offer. Whereas if they didn't stick around long enough to see the offer, then you want to bring them back to the replay until they stick around, until they see the offer, right? So to go ahead and set that up, we go into our webinar broadcast room and we go to settings up here and webinar settings. And so right here is where we go ahead and say when we show our offer. So if we show it, 40 minutes in, it'd be 40 times 60. Probably should be able to do that in my head, 2,400 seconds. So we'd set this to 2,400 seconds. And anybody that sits on this page then for that long, we know have seen the offer, right? So that's what you go ahead and you do there to set up that parameter of if they've seen your offer or not. And there's no special elements on this page, so it's a general page. It's just over here, the settings and webinar settings, that's where you set that timer up. All right, so that's how you go ahead and you set up that timer right there. Webinar countdown will come back here now real quick. It's a very simple page. Take us 30 seconds to look at real quick. There's no special webinar settings over here. For elements, we got just your basic elements, webinar time, so when's it starting, when's the date it's on, and then add event. So this is a special little thing so people can share it on Facebook, Twitter, etc. So a little share thing. So nothing super special or tricky or neat really. I just wanted to point it out to you. On the webinar replay room, it's just a generic page. There's no settings on it. See, no special webinar settings, no special elements on it. It's just a page where people would go and watch the webinar. So I want to point that out. Now, of course, over here on the auto webinar automation thing, we saw that we could do purchase product. So over here, so purchased. So in order to sell a product that gets tracked in this little automation window, you would have to add an order form page here and an order confirmation page. You could add a whole funnel if you wanted to as well, but just for the sake of example, we'll just say order form. And so you'd send people to your order form here straight from your webinar. So they'd go to this order form to buy whatever it is you're selling on your webinar. And so we'll go with sales and order form, and we'll just select a template. And then of course we'd go ahead and set up our product and all that other stuff. And then we'd have an order confirmation, create funnel step, and we go to sales and order confirmation, and we just go ahead and select a template real quick. And so there we go. Now we can go ahead and kind of track our purchases for our webinar. So that's how you go ahead and do that. You can't direct people to a different funnel. It won't be able to track the purchases here or saw offer but didn't purchase. So if you want to take advantage of these particular automations in here, you got to sell the product from this funnel itself. All right. And so that's pretty much it for this video and how to set up Evergreen webinars on ClickFunnels. I think I pointed out all the locations you need to look. So you go to, when you're editing a page, you go up to settings, and then there's webinar settings. And depending on if you're on the auto webinar registration page or the webinar broadcast room, there's some different options in there. And then also there's some different elements depending on your page type as well. And some elements are dependent upon your webinar settings, right? So that's important. Then we talked about this automation stuff in here and how to go ahead and utilize it, and how to track whether somebody attended but missed offer or saw offer but didn't purchase by setting a timer in the webinar broadcast room. And then also how to track purchases within your funnel by adding an order form and products to your funnel. And again, this could be a full functional funnel with OTOs, downsells, etc. as well. But just so they're doing it inside of this webinar funnel is how you track the purchases. And hopefully this is helpful, and thank you, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. In this video, I'm going to show you a little ClickFunnels trick or secret or tip where we can go ahead and set up an element or a section or a row. We can make it a delayed appearance. So, after 10 seconds or whatever, this image or logo or something pops up on the screen and it stays there. So if somebody leaves the page and comes back the next day or 30 minutes from now, like, they don't have to wait another 10 seconds in order to see what it is you're trying to show them. So let me demonstrate it real quick. So one thing we could do, so here's our funnel or our order form, right? So we got our page here, and we want our opt-in or our order form to appear after 10 seconds for the sake of example. We want to give the person 10 seconds to watch this video, read some about our offer, and so on. So you see this a lot in like webinars. You want to wait until X minutes, 40 minutes into the webinar before you pop up the buy now button, and then you want that button to stay put. You want it to be there for them to buy, right? So same concept. You see it a lot with the Evergreen webinars, but let's say on this order form, we want the thing to pop up after 10 seconds. So if we came in here and we went to advanced and animation and time delayed and fade in, and I'm gonna set it for 5 seconds, for example. 10 seconds, we don't wanna sit here together for 10 seconds, but so 5 seconds, we'll do 5 seconds, okay? So look, we're sitting here, we got 5 seconds to watch the video, learn about the product, and boom, it pops up, right? But what if the person leaves the page and then comes back? So they come back, 30 minutes later, and then they gotta wait another 5 seconds for the thing to load. Now 5 seconds isn't that big of a deal, but if it's a 2-minute wait, like that could be significant. Somebody might not wanna wait 2 minutes the second time for that order form to pop up. So how do we get that order form to stay there the next time the individual comes to the page? So that's what we're gonna cover like in this video, is how to do that. All right, so what we gotta do is we're gonna add an element here, add element, and we wanna add a timer in here. So we got minute timer, and we're gonna throw that in here. And I'm gonna put it right beneath my order form. It doesn't matter where you put it anywhere you want on the page. It does not matter, as you'll soon see. So actually, let me go ahead and delete this timer before I forget. Otherwise, we're gonna have some issues. So I turned off the timer of my thing, so it should pop up. And then what I wanna go ahead and do is use this to do something. So basically, I wanted to set this for the 5 seconds, 5-second timer, or however long I want the form before it appears to show up. And what I wanna do is expire action on a show or hide elements. And I want to go ahead and show an element. So I'm going to show my order form. So we kind of scroll down here, and you see like boxes start popping up over time. You see there's a box over here, and then we're on the order form. So there we go. So I want to show my order form once the timer goes off. And then on the revisit action, I want to go ahead and auto expire for however many days. Let's say I want 365 days. Like if they've seen this video for 5 seconds, within the last 365 days, this order form is going to be there, okay? And what I want to do then is I want to go ahead and hide this timer. We don't need the person to see the timer. It's like a hidden secret timer. So let's go ahead and flip the little eyeball here, so that way we're not seeing the timer. Now, if you want to bring the timer back because you need to make changes to it or something like that, you just come up here to Elements, Manage, and then you locate your timer here, and you can turn it back on, and so on. So that's how you can go ahead and find it again, is up under here in Manage. And then we got to go ahead and hide our order form as well. So we're going to hide that as well, and that timer is going to make it appear. Again, if you want to check out your order form again, you just come up here to Manage, and you unhide it, right? Boom, there it is. Boom, it's gone. Okay. So save it now. And now we'll go ahead and preview our page again. And now our order form won't be there for hopefully 5 seconds. And then it's going to pop up. Boom, popped up. Okay. Now, let's say we leave, we go outside, we ride our bikes around for an hour. And then when I'm on my bike ride, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to buy that thing when I get back in. So I'm going to go back to the sales page and refresh it real quick. And the order form's there. Right? I don't have to wait another 5 seconds or 2 minutes or whatever you have for the order form to pop back up. Because if I had to wait again, 2 minutes after I already decided I was going to buy it, like that wouldn't be good, right? You want it the next time to be there. So that's how you can do it. So instead of setting that delay under the advanced features thing, so instead of going in here and doing the animation and delay timer, you set up a timer, you make it hidden, you hide the element, and then after that timer expires, then it pops up whatever it is you want to show. And then of course the timer, you can use a timer on sections as well. You don't have to just use it on elements. So for example, if I come in here, click on it, and you can see that we can do rows, sections, so we can do multiple elements if we want to. So a lot of options in here. Basically, you just make sure you hide whatever it is first. So that way, when the timer counts down, it pops up and you can see it, right? So that's it. Simple little trick, but I've had several people ask similar questions to this, so I decided to make a video that I can stick on the internet and anybody can watch it. And here we go. So hopefully this is helpful to you. Yeah, thank you. Have a great day. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake. And I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business. And the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day.